YouTube. Today in the Naughty Librarian, it's a new episode of Drunk Classics, and we are going to be doing Lady Chatterley's Lover for Smutty September. I am excited to do it. It is kind of a romance classic, and yeah, let's get into all the steamy delights. Before we do, though, let's talk about wine for a second. I'm drinking this fantastic Farmingham Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough, New Zealand, and the thing with New Zealand is that they do Sauvignon Blanc very well. It tastes very different than any other Sauvignon Blanc I've ever tasted. The French ones are usually a bit more elegant. California ones kind of just don't taste like anything, but like New Zealand ones, they're very punchy. Like the smell, it's definitely more herbal. You still get like grapefruit and grass. So like, yeah, it's grapefruit and grass, I think is the best way to describe it. So if you kind of like that earthy, herbal, citrusy kind of smell, this is going to do fantastic for you. It is very intense on the palate. There's a lot of Sauvignon Blanc that are kind of very soft. This one is just like ba-bam with like a lot on the palate. So if you want a wine with lots and lots of flavor, lots and lots of scent, it's very aromatic, then I recommend trying this one out. I think you could get that for probably about 20 bucks. It's not too expensive, so yeah, give it a whirl. But enough with wine. I'm going to continue drinking and I'm going to start reading. Okay, I figured time for a pause. I've only read like a few chapters so far. So you got Clifford and Connie, the Chatterleys, and they get married, and like they're together for like a month or so, and then he goes off and fights in World War I and gets shipped back home like in pieces, but like not like in pieces like he's dead, but like he was very grievously injured, and he managed to survive, but now he's like paralyzed from the waist down. And so he has no interest in sex because I don't think he can perform it physically. But like Connie is also going a little crazy because they're so isolated. They're at this country manor and he writes all the time and she enjoys like writing with him and like being creative and talking and all that kind of stuff, which is great. That's a great basis for a relationship. But she's also like very isolated and bored and kind of listless in life. And then they invite this playwright over, and his name is Michaelis, and he's kind of an interesting guy because he's very, very successful in the same way that that Clifford wants to be successful, because Clifford's a writer now. So Clifford like admires him so much that he hates him. But the thing is, Connie also kind of admires him like a kicked puppy. She's like, oh, you poor little kicked puppy. I'll let you have sex with me. So they just kind of do it. They have a little brief affair for a few days, and like she just fucks Michaelis a bunch, but she doesn't want Clifford to know. She's like, it'll hurt his feelings, and I'm like, well, yeah, it'll hurt his feelings. However, like her whole like thought process behind sex is so contradictory because like at one point she does experience sexual desire, and at the other side of the coin is she doesn't really give a shit about sexual desire. So it's like, pick a lane. I guess it could be both. Who knows? There's just like a really like, there's a lot of sexual dynamics going on here, and I don't really understand the author's viewpoint yet, essentially. But I don't know. This is glass 2. I'm going to finish it and just keep going. Hello. I feel like this has gotten to the part of the evening where I am maybe a little too loosey-goosey. Also, like, maybe just because I just got a haircut today, but like, what is this? Like, what is happening to my head? It's these little baby hairs, and they're just like, blah. But anyway, let's talk about Lady Chatterley's lover. So Clifford and Connie and Michaelis. Michaelis left. He's like, whatever, I'm going to do playwriting stuff. And then Connie and Clifford are just at their house, living their lives. And Clifford is just such a weird guy. He's just like, oh, you know, Connie, like, if you wanted to fuck around, like, I don't care. You can just go do some stuff. Who cares? You know, like, if you feel the need to get on a dick, go ahead. Like, and then just come home after. Like, he's so oddball about it, but not in like a progressive, like, oh, I can't satisfy those needs and I want you to be happy. It's more so just like, oh, well, just get it out of your system. Like, it's still so like emotionally distant. And so I kind of get why she's like, you know what? fuck Clifford. I kind of get it. But the thing is, like, Connie also has this weird conflicted relationship with sex. Like, she has like a human body that experiences desire, so she does occasionally want sex, but she also doesn't really find anything like worthwhile in it. What she really is just looking for is someone who will like take care of her emotionally, and like nobody bothers. It seems like all of the guys in this book, either they just want to like talk to her and treat her like she's like this pretty paperweight in the house that they talk to sometimes. Basically, she's like the equivalent of a house cat or a bird or something. Or they just want to use her for her body and use her for sexual purposes, but there's no one who just wants to like be there for her emotionally. And I think that's what her problem is. She's just like, all y'all bitches are crazy and I don't like you. She has a very low opinion of men, and honestly, all of the dudes she's met, like, I get it. Same. Like, part of Connie kind of was thinking about, like, maybe I could have, like, a baby? But then she thinks about, her group of men that she knows, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. She hates all of them so much. Well, one of them she's kind of likes, but like he's obviously gay, so like a gay best friend situation. But like all of them she's just like, oh gosh, and he was the father? Like she's just appalled. And it's like, I don't understand Clifford either, because like I get it, like he had a spinal cord injury, and so now he's like impotent and he can't have like penis and vagina sex, but like there's more ways to bone. It's not like this is in like the 1920s 30s era, and it's like, yeah, people knew other ways to fuck. Like like he's got a tongue, don't he? Like there's other things they could do, and it's not like, oh, oral sex is this newfangled invention. It's like people have been putting like genitals in their mouth since they realized they have both genitals and mouths. So it's always been happening. And like, what, just fuck your wife somehow. Like, I don't get it. You know, I think I'm gonna stop reading for tonight. I read like about a third of the book today, so that's like a fair amount. Anyway, let's talk about what's been going on. Hilda shows up, and she's Connie's older sister, and she's super cool. She's super sassy, and I love her. And she's like, listen up, fuckwit, to Clifford, because Connie is literally just wasting away. She's becoming thinner and thinner and thinner, and it's mainly just because she's so unhappy, you know? She's just like wasting away. And so she's like, listen up, fuckwit. I'm taking Connie and we're gonna go to London. We're gonna go see some doctors. She's gonna like live her life because you fucking suck. But Connie is like, I don't know. She can't just leave Clifford. She's like, hey, you know, he's my husband and, you know, he's paralyzed. Like, what am I gonna do? Run away? Like, I'm not that big of an asshole. So she ends up staying, and so they're like, okay, but you can't continue on like this. You are wasting away. Let's hire him a nurse. Let's get him a nurse. They hire this woman, Mrs. Bolton. And honestly, Miss Bolton, godsend. Like, she just takes care of everything for Clifford. Connie is just, like, spending a lot more of her time alone. And honestly, best thing for her. She's much happier now that she doesn't have to listen to Clifford, like, just prattle on. So, their marriage is really not in a good way at the moment. But the thing is, Mrs. Bolton is, you know, she's like a working class woman, but she kind of idealizes the upper class. So when she hangs out with Clifford, she just idealizes him so much that like he's getting off on it. He wants to be the most important person in the room. He wants to be the master of the house, that he loves it. Like, this is his jam. He's like, why haven't I hired you forever? You're the best. So they spend like all their time together, and it works great. because Clifford gets to feel super powerful and he's like the master of the house and like super superior. And then she also really likes it. This is Bolton, because she's just like, oh, I'm learning all this stuff from the upper class. Like, aren't I fancy? So like they have like a good thing going. But let's talk about Connie. All she does is like walk around the woods by herself because she doesn't really have anything else to do in this like country manor. So she goes and walks around the woods, and she comes to this little cottage in the woods, and she hears like sounds. So she goes up there, and Mellors is there, and he's like doing manual labor. He's like, you know, chopping wood, building chicken coops, and she's like, damn. So all of a sudden she has a raging lady boner. She's like, oh man, like I didn't know that this was my thing, but like it's totally my thing. And Mellors is also kind of very aware of Connie, and he's just like, he really thinks she's really hot, so he kind of has this like raging boner for her too, but they're both just like not being nice to each other, so maybe it's more of like an enemies to lovers situation. But there's very little loving going on. They've just barely talked to each other. And there's like a dash of sexual tension that one time. I mean, it's only 30% of the way through the book. Maybe I should be more patient. But like, no, I don't want to be patient. I want there to be smutty bits. So, you know, I feel like this is the time for me to take a break, because like I'm getting frustrated. And the more I read, the more frustrated I will be. And drinking does not help that. So I'm gonna take a pause for the day. I feel like 30, like a third of this book is a good amount of book to read in a day. And I'll come back tomorrow and read more. But like, I started it. Basically, they have a terrible marriage, and they could just fucking talk to each other, and he could go down on her. And I feel like a lot of their problems would be solved. Like, that's all they need, is to like talk, be nice to each other, and oral sex. Like, is it too much to ask? But apparently so. I don't know. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna rest, and I'm gonna regroup tomorrow. Hello. It is day 2 of Lady Chatterley's Lava. I realize I say that silly, and I can't say it any other way. You know, you just get like something in your head, and you're like, that's just how you say it now. Lady Chatterley's Lava. By the way, I realized that I forgot to film an intro for this, so this is after, well, you know what? I'm almost done with Glass 2, so like, I'm already feeling pretty good. But let's talk about what's been going on with Lady Chatterley for a minute. So, Lady Chatterley. She's still really depressed, and she's just losing her mind because she's so isolated in this like country manor. All she likes doing is walking around in the woods. That's all she has in her life. So she does that like a lot. And then one day she's out in the woods, and she finds this chicken coop, and she's like, oh, I like chickens. And like, she just starts sobbing over chickens because, you know, like, girl, like, I get it. Like, I've been there. Depression's real. Mellors shows up, and he's just like, oh, it's okay. I'll comfort you. It's all right. Don't cry. Let me comfort you with my dick. So, they have sex in like a shack in the woods, and it's not even good sex. Like, there's this weird thing in the book where I know it was banned for its sexual content. And the thing is, like, I was expecting it to be like spicy sexual content with like passion and stuff, but like, it's all just bad sex, all of it. Like, I don't know, maybe it's something with like her mental state, because every time she seems to be intimate with a man, she just completely disassociates from her body. And so, you know, she's not like having orgasms, she's just like kind of literally just laying there like a pancake. And I was like, this can't be fun for anybody. I was hoping for like more passion, I guess, because these sex scenes are just basically sad people touching each other's genitals. But let me talk about this one thing. I wrote them down. There's 2 quotes in this book I had to write down because they're so absurd. I don't know what it is, but D.H. Lawrence seems obsessed with dicks. Like, there's so many lines in this book about penises, like, and they're absurd. Like, so many, like, it's getting to the point where I'm just like, do you think about anything other than dicks? Because I'm not sure if you do. One of the quotes was, the stirring restlessness of his penis. I guess it's like a more poetic way of saying he's being led around by his dick. So the other quote, He was but a temple servant, the bearer and keeper of the bright phallus, her own. So, like, he has a stirringly restless penis, and also he's, like, this, like, keeper of this bright phallus in a temple that he gives her. It's like, your dick is not a gift, sir. I hate to break it to you and all men. Your dick is not a gift. I'm sorry, but oh my gosh. So anyway, I'm gonna continue drinking. I'm still finishing off that bottle of Farmingham from yesterday, so I'm gonna finish that bottle today. Feeling good about it. But there's a lot of dicks in this book, and not all of them, none of them are good. No good dicks. So I just read a bunch of the book and drank a bunch. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna power through, because this book is getting very, very boring for so long, because it's very repetitive. But you know what, I have some thoughts. Connie and Mellors is having this affair. Connie's just like, I gotta hedge my bets here. So she starts rumors around town. She's like, hey, you know, there might be a baby in the future. And everyone's like, what? She's like, you know, Clifford's dick still works. She doesn't say it like that, but she, like, basically implies around town that, like, his dick works even though his legs don't. Just in case she ends up pregnant, basically. She wants there to be the seed of knowledge that perhaps it's Clifford's. And she's also planning this big trip to Venice, because just in case she's pregnant, Clifford will think it's from an affair she has in Venice and not from Mellors. So she's like hedging her bets for this affair. However, their affair is just terrible. Like, I thought this was gonna be like a really, like, passionate love story, and it's just not. Like, Mellors is, like, low-key kind of an asshole. Like, I don't really like him. Clifford is like a little man-child. All the dudes in this book suck. Just horribly suck. And going into this book, I thought that it was supposed to be feminist, I guess, because it's dealing with sexual desire for women, women's sexual desire, which was, you know, a taboo subject in the time era where this was being written. So I thought this was supposed to be kind of feminist and like, oh, women have desire and stuff. But it's like, is it? Because I feel like it's just like secretly coded misogyny. And it's bothering me like nails on a chalkboard. And it's all based on sex, essentially. Because, like, every single guy in this book is terrible at it. They're all really lousy lays, but they blame women for it. They're like, oh, well, why can't you just come when I fuck you? And he's like, because you have done nothing special with your penis, sir. And they resent women for not just coming when they do nothing to, like, make that happen. Or if the women take this into their own hands, literally, and, like, get themselves off, they also, like, resent her. And it's like, well, maybe you should, like, try harder, sir. Maybe your dick isn't the gift you think it is. But, like, I don't know. The whole thing with the book is just kind of making it seem like it's women's fault that their own bodies, like, betray them with their sexual desires, and how, like, they don't just, like, come up, like, on command. And it's hurting my feelings because it's so misogynistic. And also, like, I haven't mentioned this last time, but they're like random parts in the story. There's just like casual anti-Semitism, casual racism in here, just like thrown in a casual conversation, or if they're fighting, and I'm just like, ooh, that's, ooh. I should really research books before I read them. I just went into this knowing they're supposed to be fucking. It was a banned book, and it's supposed to have, like, a passionate love affair. And, like, it has fucking. But, like, none of the other things. I'm just having a hard time with it. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna finish this class, and I might just stop for the night. Because, like, who cares? Who cares? All these guys are lousy lays, and I hate them all. And also, like, even the text is getting very male-gazy right now. I wrote down another quote, which was, he loved making her breasts swing softly, like bells. So, yeah, I'm like 2/3 of the way through this book, and there's been quite a bit of fucking involved. None of it's good sex, in my opinion. It's just kind of basic. And also, all the guys are bad at it. And the women just kind of lay there like pancakes. And I'm like, is this just, like, how people fucked? Like, poor D.H. Lawrence said he thought this was normal sexual behavior. Woo! I'm gonna stop for today. Basically, the last thing that I saw happening, Hilda's coming back. Hilda is Connie's cool older sister. She's coming back. She wrote to Connie. She's like, hey, I'm coming to town. I'm not staying at your house because Clifford is the literal worst and I'll strangle him in his sleep. I hate him. But I'm gonna stay over there and I'll pick you up in the morning. We're gonna get brunch and we're going to Venice. Like, she is the coolest. Like, I love Hilda. And I'm just gonna leave it there because I'm out of wine too. So I can start fresh tomorrow with a new bottle and try to like plow through the last like 100 pages of this book because oh my gosh, it's a lot right now. Hello YouTube. It is officially day 3, the last day of Lady Chatterley's Lover. Basically it has to be because I can't stand reading this for another day. And for today, I'm starting a new bottle. This is just a Cotes du Rhone Blanc. It's by J.V. Fleury. And hey, free wine lesson for everybody because everyone seems interested in wine videos. Cotes du Rhone Blanc is usually a blend of Viognier and Marsanne and Roussanne. And usually Viognier dominant. And I tried this one and it's very Roussanne dominant. So I was like surprised. Either that or maybe it's a 2020. This is a very young one. I think it was a 2018. It'd probably be a little better right now, but it's okay. Also, be aware, Cotes du Rhone Blanc is very boozy. So I think this one glass is gonna get me there, honestly. So let's go. Let's start reading some more of Lady Chatterley. Hold up. Okay, you know what? I've only read one chapter today, and we need to talk about some things that have happened. Okay, so Connie and Mellors, they're having their sex. All the sex in this book is kind of terrible sex, but like, it gets real weird in this one chapter. Like, he has a whole conversation with her butt, and then she has a conversation with his hard penis, and then another one with his soft penis, and then they put like flowers in each other's pubic hair. Like, I'm not even making that up, and if I was making it up, why would I do that? Who does that? Like, what? Who? Pubic hair flowers and conversations with dicks. Like, that's where we are in this book. That's where we are in life, guys. Only read one chapter so far. Anyway, on that note, let's continue on. I'm gonna need a lot of alcohol for this. Okay, so I've read a bit more. I'm drinking more than I should because I need to make this interesting and I'm not having success. Hilda finally shows up and she's like, all right, Connie, Venice trip, we're doing it. And Connie's like, listen, so like, my last night in town, I want to have a sleepover with my boyfriend. So she tells Hilda about Mellors and she's like, the fuck are you doing, Connie? And so they go over to Mellors' house and Mellors is such a fucking dick. He's a piece of shit all the time. Like, I don't understand how he's like a romantic hero in this book. Is he supposed to be? Because he's kind of a piece of shit. And he's really like crass and terrible to Hilda. And Hilda's like, the fuck? Connie, I don't know what happened here. I don't know why you're so dick crazy over this guy, because like maybe the dick is good but it's attached to an asshole, so like why are you dealing with him? I love the older sister. She is my favorite character in this book. I wish the book was about her. Like, she's so fun because Connie is so needy and desperate all the time, especially with Mellors. She's like, you love me, right? Tell me you love me. Like, she's just so over dramatic and constantly just begging for affection, even though like Mellors just doesn't give it because he's kind of a fucking asshole. But anyway, so they go on vacation. She and Hilda, they're in Venice. And you know, Connie's doing her melancholy extravaganza, because that's all she does is be melancholy. She's like straight up Holden Caulfielding all over Venice, just like, everything's too much, and just like waxing poetic about human nature. And it's like, oh my gosh, just get in the fucking gondola and enjoy yourself, lady. Like, there's pasta, there's wine, and boats. You get to just play in boats all day. Like, what fucking more do you want, lady? But here's the deal. Things have gotten crazy back home because she gets this letter. And apparently, Mellors' ex-wife, who's like bug nuts insane, and Mellors was trying to divorce her, and so she shows up at the shack where they fuck, and she's like, hey, I'm your wife, we're getting back together. And he's like, oh, no. And then she is so bug nuts crazy. Like, oh my gosh, like, if you ever seen any movie about like a crazy ex-girlfriend, like, she is like textbook crazy ex-girlfriend. So she is like insane, going all over town talking shit about him. And finally she gets to the point where she goes too far, because she's like, oh yeah, I bet you were fucking Lady Chatterley. And she starts spreading that shit around town, and Clifford's like, bitch. So Clifford, you know, he's got a lot of money. He's Lord Chatterley, and he's just like, oh police, come here. And then like ex-wife goes, oh no, the police are coming, I've gone too far. And she takes off again because she's scared of prison, obviously, because she's bug nuts insane. Finally she's gone. And the thing is, Mellors, with his charming personality that he has, like, Clifford comes and talks to him. He's like, the fuck, bro? What's going on with your wife? Do you have ladies in this shack? Because she's all over town telling everybody how you, like, this is a fuck palace. And he's like, whatever. Like, why are you mad? Like, I am using my dick. It's not like you're using yours, essentially. Like, he just, like, says crass, horrible things to his fucking boss. And no shit, he gets fired. So now he's fired. He's gonna be moving on. And Connie's still in Venice. And like, oh my gosh, like, things are just drama now. It's just drama llama. And I still have like 2 chapters left. There's only 2 chapters left of this book. I don't know what's gonna happen, but like, all these people are just horrible. They're all terrible. Let's just go hang out with Hilda. Like, she's cool, right? I don't know. Let's see what these dummies do next. I'm finally finished with Lady Chatterley's Lover. I read the whole thing. Let's discuss what happened in these last 2 chapters. There's this whole bit with Connie and her dad. Like, I just want to talk about this relationship for a minute, because Connie's dad is such a creep. But like, oddly kind of like modern and like nice to his daughter, but also kind of a creep of a human. Like, she's very open with her dad. She's like, listen, I'm pregnant. It's not Clifford's. It's this guy's. And he's just like, okay, like, listen, did you get it good? Like, that's his first question to her. And she's like, yeah, I got it good. And he's like, all right, okay, so here's what you're going to do. Personally, I think you should just go back to Ragby. That's where Clifford lives, the estate. Go live there, raise the kid, whatever, you know? But, I mean, if you want to run off with this guy, I mean, you got some money, so, like, that's a thing you could do. Like, he's just real chill about the whole thing, kind of. Then eventually, the dad and Mellors, they meet. He has the meet the parents moment. And he meets them, and he's just like, hey, you fucked my daughter proper, right? Like, he's such a creep. And then Mellors is like, yeah, I guess. And he's just like, all right, like, I can see, like, you know how to fuck properly. Like, here's the deal. Like, I like you, I think you're a cool guy, and, like, my daughter, she's real spunky, she gets it from a dad, she knows how to fuck proper. Like, he's so weird, and then he's like, it's okay, like, she's got some money, and, like, honestly, I dig this whole thing, I think she's cool, I'll give her some money, too, so, like, it's gonna work out. So, like, part of me thinks the dad is cool because he's, like, supportive, but the other part is, like, he's a literal creep. Basically, Connie is gonna rope in Duncan. Duncan's her gay best friend. She's gonna be like, hey, Duncan, I'm knocked up. You gotta tell people you're the dad. Because if Clifford finds out it's Mellors, like, he's gonna, like, lose his aristocratic shit. And if it's yours, like, you're in the same, like, aristocracy with him, so it won't be as much of a scandal. So Duncan, you gotta man up and pretend this baby's yours. And Duncan's like, all right, fine. Because Duncan is also really cool. If this whole book was about Hilda and Duncan, like, it would have been so fun. And then Connie's gonna go to Clifford and be like, Clifford, I'm in love with Duncan. I'm knocked up. I want a divorce. Please divorce me. Blah, blah, blah. And then Mellors is gonna get his divorce finally from his crazy bitch ex-wife. They're gonna get divorced. They're gonna stay apart for a while the divorces are going through. And since the divorces are final, they're gonna run off together. So they put the plan into effect. And, like, Connie tells Clifford, hey, I'm pregnant. It's Duncan's baby. I'm leaving you. And Clifford, like, doesn't take it well, obviously. But, you know, long story short, Clifford's just like, you know what, Connie? Fuck you. I ain't giving you a divorce, okay? Screw it. I'm not doing it out of spite. La la la. And she's like, ugh, fine. And she, like, leaves anyway. And then Mellors, he leaves, and he's off on this farm, and he's, like, learning how to farm. So when they, like, get back together, like, he'll have, like a profession and a way to make income that's not just basically all her money, because he doesn't want to just be, like, kept as a fuck toy. Like, he's like, you know, I have other skills. So he's like, I want to have a profession. I want to have an income outside of your income. So he's off learning to farm. And Connie's pregnant, and she's eventually just gonna show up at the farm with him. Like, that's just how the book ends. They're not together in the end. He's just, like, at this farm waiting for her to show up. So, there you go. That's the end of the book. However, let's talk for a minute, because, like, their relationship is bonkers stupid. It's entirely based on sex. Like, he is a piece of shit. Like, he's a terrible human. Like, I don't even think I mentioned this earlier, but he has a kid already from his first marriage. He already has a daughter that he never talks to, never acknowledges, never does anything to parent. He just pawned off this kid onto his mother, who he also doesn't care about. He just fucking leaves to go start this new life with Connie. Fuck his kid. Like, he's terrible, he's crass, and he's horrible. Connie is just, like, dick crazy, and then they're in a relationship based on fucking. Like, this is gonna go very poorly. But, like, that's how it ends. So, you know, like, overall, did I like this? Kinda no. I find it very misogynistic and just weird genital stuff. Like, just genitals all the time. Here's a genital, there's a genital, everywhere's a genital, hey. So, I don't know. I'm probably giving it 2 stars, because, like, sometimes it had its moments where, like, I had a good chuckle, like when he had, like, the stirring restlessness of his penis. So there's a few moments in the book that genuinely gave me a chuckle, but, like, I don't think they were supposed to be funny, but, like, whatever. I'm giving it 2 stars because, like, I enjoyed occasionally some things in it. It had its moments, but overall, like, what was the fucking point? What was I supposed to learn from this? Besides, like, people like to fuck, and then they do it sometimes. Like, I don't get it. I'm glad to have read it, because it's classic smut, you know? And there's a lot of sex in it. It's not well-written sex. It's gross, honestly, and it's, like, a dude trying to talk about, like, vaginas, but I was like, have you ever seen one? Like, I question this. So, yeah, this whole book is just a series of really weird choices to make, and yeah, there you go. I'm sticking with that. It's a lot of weird genital-based choices. And on that note, I have finished my wine, and I'm going to finish this video. So, let me know in the comments down below. Have you read Lady Chatterley's Lover? And if so, did you like it? Did you not like it? Also, what's the weirdest smut you've ever read? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'm thinking this one's probably the weirdest smut I've read. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye!